Eh. This is the Cal Catster, and this is a brief review of Isle of Dogs. As a cat, I'm going to review the movie about dogs. Yes, I saw this earlier today. This is really brief because I don't have a lot to say about it. It's a Wes Anderson movie. I remember the characters, of course. That Duke and whatever. I remember Spots and some of the other ones, and Higashi and Kobayashi and Atari and all those characters. Yeah, there wasn't Higashi. That was yeah, Kobayashi. Um, it's a let's jump right into it. It's a movie. It's a stop action, live action movie. Stop action movie. Stop motion with a little go motion, similar to those Shaun the Sheep movies and Chicken Run and stuff like that. It's not by them though. It's similar to like Kobo and the Two Strings, that kind of thing. I don't think it's them either. I think it's someone else that's similar. It's like a London, England company. It was Wes Anderson who was Bottle Rocket and Rushmore. Rushmore is a, if you're not familiar with that movie, is the precursor to Napoleon Dynamite. It was this kind of the same idea. This like ne'er do well, nerdy misanthrope character ends up being awesome in the end by doing his awesome thing, and it has a similar ending where he does a performance where he's awesome. He proves that how cool he was. Same idea here. Same idea with Bottle Rocket a little bit, but that was with Owen Wilson in it. This one I don't think has that, but it does have Jeff Goldblum and some other people. It has a little bit of a misleading trailer. They made it sound like the dog had a crush on the pilot. There's a kid pilot crashes on the island, but no, it's the exchange student. Actually, like it's sort of a voiceover that yeah, exchange student. It's just a thing that was like thrown in there. I don't know what he was thinking. My guess is Wes Anderson always kind of liked these little bit things. A lot of his other movies contain a little stop action bit at some point in the movie. The most hilarious of which was the one in Rushmore, which reenacted in stop motion and with high schoolers a doing like animatronics and also characters, a Vietnam scene. In this in this movie we have Japan, well, an alternate Japan, Nagasaki, Tokyo, Japan, where they are. This town mayor has gone insane, and he has outlawed all dogs due to a dog plague epidemic that gives them the sniffles and messes with their faces. And he's outlawed them all to the Isle of Garbage, which is Isle of Trash, which where they're all there, and he has a ward by the name of Atari, and Atari takes a plane out to the island to go find his dog that's been abandoned to the island, who was the first dog to go to the island, Dog Zero. There's a lot of weird crossover in jokes and things in there. I'm sure the Japanese portions are probably causing Japanese audience to laugh their heads off about the kanjis and stuff in there and haikus and things. This kind of movie is something that I totally would have written in junior college, in Japanese lit class. I totally would have written this movie. I would have been like, this is something. It would have been Cats, but yeah, this would have been the sequel. The cats get revenge. They conspire to make a plague to put the dogs on the island. It's but yeah. I don't know if Wes Anderson thought of this in college or even earlier, but or with his friends or something. I think it's probably based on a book and a manga, would be my guess. And he just liked the idea. It's an interesting idea. It's made $20 million so far, but it's now in wide release as of Friday the 13th, and now it is the 20th. So I went out and saw the movie. Yeah. So Isle of Dogs. It's cute. I hope that the ice cream truck outside is not being picked up on this. I don't think so. I think it's far enough away that they're not picking that up. And it's not copyrighted, I don't think. So yeah, the I'm gonna close the window anyway. Okay. All right. So yeah, what I was saying was like, I would have thought of an Isle of Dogs type of thing back in the day involving cats, engineering a plague to destroy the dogs and send them to the island. The story, yeah, it's cute. I would have thought of something like this. Uh, uh, yeah, I'm not nearly as quirky as Wes Anderson. He likes to do these quirky things. The I noticed that some of the voiceovers from the trailer were redone in post, so that they were a little better because the two female leads that they got in the trailer sound so quiet and effacing that you're like, are they like just depressed because they sound depressed. So they redid some of the lines so that they would actually like sound better. I noticed that because they are recorded in the studio later. I'm assuming they did all the animation and then got voice actors to do the American dubbing of each dog and each person. So it's half American, half Japanese. It's he must have an affinity for Japanese dogs and pilots and dudes and occasionally exchange students. Odd guy, but yeah. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe it's just that he just thinks it would be quirky. I liked the taiko drum stuff, even if it was not it wasn't it was sort of simulated, with characters doing it. But yeah, I like the idea of having a movie with drum beats as the background. I think there was a couple other movies that already did that, like Birdman. I think did that. So it's not unprecedented. A couple of years ago we had that. Over here it actually works because it's supposed to be Japan, and the evil mayor is funny. There's a lot of symbolism about corruption and the mayor being evil and having orchestrated things and been corrupt. And I don't want to give away the whole movie because go and watch it. It's cute. It's quirky and weird and cute. There's nothing really horrible in it. There's a weird kidney transplant scene in it, but just to have that in there. And there's a making sushi scene in it. Where they have the sushi, like the fish is like moving and then chop it and it stops moving. It's like that's kind of gross. But yeah, sure. Yeah, it's fine. But and there's a scientist who's trying to cure the dog plague, and they keep burying his work, so to speak. There's the exchange student reporter, this blonde girl with hair going everywhere. The only way she'd have a fro like that is if she, in fact, was of African American descent. But she does not. So there's just this weird hair that's going everywhere. Clearly some sort of white girl. But everything seems to be, animated like Japanese. It's weird because like half of it's London and other places, and the animators are various other studios, and there's hardly any actual Japanese studios. It's just mainly the other ones. Isle of Dogs, an odd idea. Let's put them on this island for years and have them forage for themselves. And there's of course cannibal dogs at one point. And experimented on dogs, and so it's kind of like the first Planet of the Apes remake movie meets dogs. They become sentient, which is a little bit like Watership Down in some ways. Maybe he was inspired by that. And Secret of NIMH. No, Secret of NIMH is what I'm thinking of. A little bit like Secret of NIMH, where there was an organization that was making sentient rats. In this case, sentient dogs, unknowingly. But yes. Yeah, so Isle of Dogs. It was cute. It's fine for, I guess, families to watch it. I mean, it's probably gonna bore little children. You're gonna be bored. It's not really a kids movie. It's not bad. It's just I would say anybody over 8 or 9, that's really not that bad. So probably the demographic is probably around 10 or 11, 12. On to adult. It's perfectly fine. So yeah, it's I don't even think it. I think it's PG. I don't think it's anything worse than that. They have a beheading scene, but it's clearly fake. So it really it's like a cartoon character. Like they're all animated cartoon sort of animatronic go motion like toys kind of that look like people and dogs. So some of that is a little grotesque because they show they experimented on things. But they're still yeah. So if you're grossed out by like semi-grotesque, and then it's probably a 12 or 13 movie, PG-13 movie. It's probably not though. I don't know. I would take use your judgment. If you've seen other Wes Anderson movies, it's a Wes Anderson movie. If you've seen other things like that, then that's fine. Yeah. So yeah, it's the heavy issue stuff in it, like the corruption of this corporation and them being evil and all that, and probably causing everything to happen in the first place, so the Cat Emperor can take over, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's yeah, it's so bizarre and out there that it's not a current political message. It's more of a spoof of that kind of thing. Yeah, so fine. Isle of Dogs. It was good. Fine. It's certainly not boring. Does take it a little bit to get used to it, but just in that you've got to figure out what some stuff is entirely in Japanese, and very little subtitles. but yeah, there's enough English in it that you get it, and enough of other dialogue that you get it. Similar to that Shin Godzilla movie, kind of, with dogs. Yeah, there's. I wonder how much of it is actually mistakes. I don't know. I didn't look up the IMDb, and apparently Stone Gremlins has not reviewed this movie yet, so I'm ahead of the curve. Watch when I post this, they'll say, "Oh, we just watched." They just watched it. Oh, they probably did. Anyway, so I'm going to post this right now.